anyhow, so the idea, I came up with the name Escape the Room. Why? Because when was that? Working on the Israel project, I guess, and I just noticed how things fall into place, and one thing leads to the next, and it just seemed like, I don't know, just in life in general, looking back at my life, obviously there's been a lot of, you know, problems and bumps in the road and this and that, but, you know, the idea for me that everything that happened, even this, right? I was obviously very disappointed, right? I was excited because when I speak, God willing, I mean, this is family, this whole discussion. You know, to a lot of people, I get, and it's funny because I have to fight between my ego, like how it's exactly, well, I think they made me, you know, it's an ego, but the ego, and I was thinking of the analogy today, it was a great analogy. You can't get away from it. I can't get away from it. It's very hard, and the ego actually blocks wisdom, and so there's this struggle because, you know, the more you focus on the ego, and that's why materialism, you know, I'm not a big fan of materialism. It's not where wisdom comes from, where true wisdom comes from. So even thinking about today, you know, I'm asking Hashem, you know, let me, you know, give me guidance, let me feel, because all of a sudden I don't prepare a lot. I don't have a lot of preparation. I mean, I had some notes I can't get to because there's no Wi-Fi. That's another story. But the point is, things come to me, and I feel good that I can share whatever I've learned in my life with people, and maybe make and, you know, have them benefit from it. It's a very good feeling. But then there's the other feeling also of being feeling important and feeling, you know, so there's this struggle. So I came up with the idea that, you know, you can't get away from your ego. It's very, except when the sun is right above you, right? When the sun. Oh no! I made the analogy to your shadow. Like you can't lose your shadow. You can't lose your shadow, no matter what. You can't lose your shadow. Everybody has an ego. There's no way to get. But when the sun is right up above, the shadow is very small. And obviously the relation is the sun is God, light, and we always refer to God as light, or light. Even when I had my experience, which everybody knows about, it was from the sun. It was intense. It was coming from the sun, and it was amazing. So the idea of escape the room is, you know, how do we move forward in life? How do we actualize our potential? How do we, you know, we're all here for a reason, and you're certainly part of the reason we're here is to enjoy, have fun, to be happy, and to party, and to have as much fun as we can, right? But ultimately, as Grandma and Grandpa taught us in Auntie Mimi, ultimate joy comes from, I believe, you know, accomplishing, from contributing, from giving, from creating loving relationships, from maximizing your potential. You know, when you think about the end, right, 120, right? So, you know, and Barbara was talking about it last night. How do you know? What do you know? For me, it's I don't like Olam Haba as a term. I don't like what the comes in term because it just became these terms. So I came up with a new term, continued existence. When we go on to our continued existence, the next phase, you know, we have memories of all the fun times. You know, we're still us. I mean, if you study any of the near-death experiences or any of the things that have been written, millions of it, we're just us. We're us. We just don't have the body, and we can get into that whole conversation. How real is the body? And it's mostly a mental world. But if you get into metaphysics and quantum study all that, you see that there's no. When we talk about it, you guys should be able to give these lectures by now. so you should know that this is not a chair. This is an illusion of a chair because there's no matter in it. There's no reason why my hand isn't going through this chair. Nobody can explain why my hand isn't going. Because if you look at the atoms, so in 120, you know, what do we have? What do we have to take with us? But You have your memories, great. Even now, you can sit in your bed and you can think about the great time you had, and you feel good. You feel good about it. I do that sometimes. I can't sleep. I'll think about, all the relaxing moments I have, all the beautiful places I've been to, and it's a nice feeling. But if you really reflect back on that, like even today, a couple of people came over to me, told me about my book and what it meant to them. And that's something special. Even if one of my kids come to me and they're having a problem, and I can help them from my experiences, and and from Grandpa, obviously we know he wasn't you say, was he a happy guy? I don't think Grandpa was a happy guy. I think he was a very satisfied guy. Very, very content. He was, okay, content, but he was always worried. So I don't know if you always worried. Was he always worried? He was always worried. Exactly. About the world, about his kids, about the thing, about everything. And that's what the message, if you went to some of these classes today, was amazing, is that's what today is about. Today is about, and Miriam said it beautifully, it's not about a building, I was confused about, can give sacrifice. No, she said what it is it's bringing God back into this world. That's the Beit HaMikdash. I mean, the heavy dose of, you're talking about oranges from concentrate, there's a place, just like Israel is a place where there's more Shekhinah, Jerusalem is a place where there's even more Shekhinah, but the Beit HaMikdash was a place where there was heavy duty Shekhinah. And obviously the Ohel, what was it called, where the Kodesh HaKodeshim. So that's the morning of today. The morning of today is that, I hate to say it, but in many ways it's a God-forsaken world. If you look at just look at how far off we have gone, I'm including myself. Thank God we live in a community where it's, we're at the top cream of the crop, but there's still so much garbage going on, so much jealousy, and so much lashon hara, and so much, and even where our values are, what's important to us. But put that aside and weigh the cream of the crop, and then go out and look at what's going on. First of all, in the world, and starvation, the wars. So there's a lot of, and who said it? Also, Luke, somebody said it. We're chosen. I hate it when people think about we're goyim, we're chosen. We have a better Shamah. I don't. Even we had a discussion. You think we do? Yeah, we do. Why? Because we have a history of learning and a history of doing the right things. So hereditarily, yes, we've had. Because you come from good stock, you come from a great family, great father. So yeah, now you're a Shamah. But in general, to say Jews are better, I don't think that's really the case. We were chosen to bring Hashem back into the world, and to be the guiding light, right, to the world. So, back to this idea of escaping the room. So, if we, and it's going to be a little disjointed because I don't have my notes. So, if we go all over the place, please excuse me. But so the point of naming it, escape the room. Life can be really, 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 as you know, and you know. Everybody's had panic attack and this and that, and hard time and this. Can be very, very scary. Not you, that person over there. Everybody's from said panic attack, so don't.
I think depression. Back.
Right.
Now, why don't we not personalize the message?
Anyways, it's all fair. So it could be very scary, and unless we have a knowledge, and we're it's obviously a big thing for me. Knowledge, not belief. It's got to be a hardcore, really understanding knowledge. That doesn't mean that emotionally we don't get scared, we don't get depressed, we don't doubt, we go through all of that. Those fears, that anxiety, depression, whatever it may be, it can all be there emotionally, but unless we have the knowledge of what's going on in this world, is there a God, is there not a God, is he with me, is he not with me, is he guiding me, then life is very, very scary. But if we know that God is holding our hand, literally, literally. That, you know, and people could say, how could that be? God is with you. Well, God is in us, right? God is in us. He's not, you know, how's he watching over everything? You know, there is only God, right? Shamah, there's only, how could there be anything else? Before there was a world, there was God, right? So what did he do? Where did he get the stuff to build the world from? He actually said, what? How did he build the world? Yes, no. He had to remove himself. He had to withdraw. So he actually, you know, he actually had to take away from himself just a little part of himself. So this, you know, God is in us, and the point is if we. So maybe this was better. Maybe this was better. I had my family here. I had my, you know, be able to talk to my family. Maybe they can open up. Maybe there's something to talk about. But that's the point. To look at everything as, you know, as that feeling of disappointment and, you know, upset. It's wrong. Even if it was a bad thing. Let's say it was a bad thing. You can't put any spin on it. It was a bad thing. You broke your right back, whatever it may be. It just was bad. It wasn't, you know, you don't see any good in it. But if we understand metaphysics, right? Metaphysics, it's not this thing like reward and punishment and, you know, Olam Haba, this whole God, and no, if we understand metaphysics, how it works, there's an exact accounting of all our actions and all our emotions and all that thing. You say Lashon Hara, God doesn't punish you. You punish yourself. It's like sticking your finger in the fire. You stick your finger in the fire, you're going to get burned. You talk Lashon Hara, and I'm just picking that as an example, or you cheat, or you steal, or you whatever, or you're not appreciative, or you whatever you don't want to do, or you cheat on your wife, blah, blah, blah. It's just a natural boomerang. That's what happens. You put that amount of suffering into your life, and you have to pay for it, or else what kind of game is it? And this is a game. Life is a game. Hashem made this all for us, for our ultimate joy. Now, it may seem a little strange because we're not the greatest party. I mean, it's fun. There's a lot of good times, but there's a lot of, you know, but it is the ultimate joy. We are leading towards ultimate ecstasy. At the end of the road is no doubt ecstasy, because that's where we're going. And unless it was a serious game, then there would be no ecstasy. There's right back to the analogy. There could be no good without, right? How could there be good? Do you understand why? Why can't there be any good without evil? Yeah, but other than that.
Why could there be good
But
without? Why
how could there be good if there's no evil?
you wouldn't know what good is unless you're comparing it to somebody who's.
That's one concept, but there's something different. How could they say you did something good? If you only had to choose from good, how could you be good?
That's it. Yeah, there's nothing to compare it to.
Okay, then compare it to. There's not only that, you can't be good. It's not a matter of knowing what's good. You can't be good if you can only do good.
So how do you explain Olam Haba? That's all that you experienced.
What do you say?
Like Adam and Eve, Olam Haba. It was.
It wasn't all about.
But Adam. So
This one.
that was how that is.
What?
Yeah.
Correct. It wasn't all about.
That's the. But that's what we're saying. If that's what we're striving towards, and there's only good there, then what's like? How did they have appreciation?
What?
How did they have appreciation for God if they didn't know what the bad is?
So going back, how do you go? Good. Well, one second. There's two different things. I didn't say you can't enjoy yourself. I said, was Adam and Eve good people? There was no evil before he did that when he gave him one testament. There was no evil in the world. You could say he's a good person. If you only can do good, you have choices only to do good. You have no choice to do bad. You're not a good person. You have no choice. So the point of, you know, so I was saying, if something that happens bad, right? And how could it be viewed as good, right? Well, there's a thing called kapara, and it's a real thing. And you know, I know I talk to my kids sometimes, and oh, kapara. No, that's how it works. And you know what? In this world, there's mercy. There's mercy. So if you do, it's a numbers game. Let's say you embarrass somebody 10 times. And you know, God doesn't judge you one for one. He gives you mercy. You don't, I'm trying to put numbers to it. I'm trying to, you know, I don't really know how it works exactly, but I'm just trying to just put in your mind that if one gets embarrassed, you know, the way to look at it is that, see, I even say it, and it's hard for me to say it because I don't know that I believe it really in myself. So I give it over, like to sit here like I'm this guy that believes all this stuff, and knows all this stuff, and lives my life this way, and I'm saying, no, I'm not. But that's where the knowledge comes in. In other words, you have the knowledge, but then do you live it? I don't live it that way all the time, but I try. If something bad happens, even in business, you know, that view of kapara is a real thing. Is a real thing. So we're talking about, and it's really it's for my children. I would say it's you don't have an understanding of the spiritual world. You don't have an understanding of what we're doing here. You don't have a real connection to God. Then life is difficult. Life is very difficult. And if you do, then life is amazing. And life will take you to incredible places. And you will just know that if you know that life, you know, this is where we all want to go. This is our maximum potential. This is where we are. This is where we start life. Well, it doesn't go like that. It just doesn't. It's actually foolish to think that it does. It doesn't. So if you're going, and if you know that to get from here to here, you got to go down here because that's where you got to go. Like if you were going on a road and you had to go through some bumpy roads to get to Great Adventure, you wouldn't say, "Oh God, you know, you're going to Great Adventure." So what's the problem? This happened. Okay, big deal. Pick it up, figure it out. Why did it happen? What am I supposed to learn? You know, maybe something's good's going to come out of it. Maybe it was a good thing. Whatever it may be, package it that way and move on. And if we get stuck, if we're in a place, if we resist it, we say, "This isn't fair. Why did this happen?" What, you know, blah, 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 whatever it may be, then we get stuck there and we don't move on. You don't move on. So you know, that's really the you know, the message you know that I was just trying to get to get. There was a lot more. If I had my notes, you know, that I wanted to say, they can see what else did I miss.
What's the analogy to see through?
What do you mean?
That there's clues all along the way. It's crazy because even when I was working on the Syndrome project, I went to Beit and it fell through. And then no, I met the guy who took me that guy, who introduced me to that guy, and then I went to that guy, and I should get sad that this guy thought no. You just keep going. You just keep going. Everything is along the way. It's perfect. That's perfect. That happened. It wasn't a bad thing. It would. Oh, yeah. I wasn't meant either. I wasn't meant for that, or maybe right now. You know, sometimes we think when we fail that it's a failure. It's not a failure.
It's a learning experience.
But it's also what if you had to fail? Okay, you have a thing and you got to shoot a target at it, right? And if you hit the target, you get $1 million. Well, if you shot it, you know. I don't know if this is a great analogy.
2 feet to the right, you know, to move your gun to the left a little bit.
Okay, but the point is, okay, what if it's preordained that you're not going to get it right away? For some reason, you got to fail 4 times before you're going to get it. Well, you got to go through those 4 failures. Oh, I went through 1. Okay, I went through, and even Z was telling me, he's saying, you know what, business is good, then business is bad. So I realized, it's a joke. I'm the same guy. Even me myself. I went through a lot. You know my business life. I didn't make that much money in my whole life. Now business is good. Now business is bad. Now business is good. So the same guy. I have the same skills. So what? All of a sudden everything came together. Walmart. I'm doing business with Walmart. What? I'm some genius all of a sudden? No. Whatever it is. It's just a matter of. And I went. God knows how many 16 years in this business. trudging by, but every moment, even when it feels like you're running on this treadmill, not going anywhere, you are. Because you gotta run, that's what you gotta do you gotta run, but you think you're not moving, but you're moving. Because obviously, that's what you need to do, because that's what's in your life. But it's all a function of whether you're doing the right thing in your life. If you're not doing the right thing in your life, then you're not on the road, and you're getting lost, and you're going very far. If this is the road, well, you're going there, and you've got to go all the way back just to get back there. And you're not, that's a big problem if you're not doing the right thing. If you're not, we have a GPS in us. GPS in us is, now how do we activate it? You activate it, we have an Shamah. How do you activate it? You activate it by we have an instruction book. He told us what to do. Take one day a week, Shabbat, talk to me every morning, talk to me every afternoon, talk to yourself really. The judge, Hallel, to pray is to judge. Hallel is to judge, right? God doesn't need a tap on the back. Thank you, God bless you, you're great. Mountains and the thing, you're wonderful. He doesn't need us. Okay, it's for us to realize that there is a God, that there is, and to think through the Amidah, to reflect on the amazing 18 different things. I'm a different person from when I started this whole idea of collective prayer. I know there has to be there if we need it, and it's divine, it works. Inspired from the Siddur, but if we don't make it personal, God bless the person who can reach the Siddur and really get moved by it. I have to tell you, unless I really take time alone, and I don't, I'm not. I'm supposed to go by, if you're going to quit out. Certain minyanim maybe, and that's why, you go to the cocktail, and it's strange even how prayer became. Even some minyanim, like I'll feel strange if I put the talit in my head, and I have 20-minute amidah, what's this guy doing? We finished it. But prayer, that's the magic source. We don't realize what the strength of the tool and what the world is realizing it. The secret, self-actualization, Wayne Dyer, Eckhart Tolle. What are they talking about? They're talking about how we think and how we have an amazing box here in our brain that not only affects our emotions. So that's a very important thing that I wanted to touch on. This whole idea of looking at things positively, negatively, is what are we telling ourselves? We've got to be very careful, because this is at least my default setting when I came into this world was negative. And I think many people's default setting is perhaps negative. Look, if you have, God, no, we have beautiful trees, beautiful water, beautiful, healthy family, healthy day, but I don't have this. My house is a little too small. Or, I don't know, God, let's put it in perspective. And what happens sometimes when we're not putting it in perspective, when we're not being Yehudim, to be grateful. We're not being grateful, unfortunately, what do we get? What do we get? He'll show us. Oh, you're not being grateful? Let me take it away. Okay, you didn't like the chair? Well, how do you like sitting on the floor? No, I want the chair. Oh, okay. That's what happens. So a lot of suffering is for that reason. Not many people, when they get the order, do they say, nothing they don't. Thank you, Hashem. Thank you. It's amazing with religion. How many people are my children at home and wanted the answer? Say beracha. Even me, I'm losing it a little bit with my berachot. Thank you every time I eat food. What an amazing religion that we're supposed to be reminded every second when there's all this Yetzer Hara out there. No, God is with you. God is here. He loves you. You're going to have a great life. It isn't going to be easy. It's not supposed to be. But every second of the day, we remind ourselves of an amazing thing. So that's, if we do that, if we're trying our best, right? We all do stuff. I lose my temper, I lose my whatever, not excluding myself. But as long as we're doing our best, then we're on that road. We're right on track. We're right on track. We're perfect. Everything's perfect. Exactly. Even if it hurts. Even if it hurts, it's fine. It's good. I know that I look back and I tell my kids that, you know, I've been through, and I'm proud of it. I'm happy. And that's funny, I tell myself, one thing I feel bad, I never fought the war, I never fought for Israel, I never fought for, you know, because those are real men. But there's other ways to be real men. Real men is to, a woman is to take on your challenges and your struggles, and to deal with them like, you know, with confidence and pride and appreciation. And I do look back on them, and, you know, on the struggles that I've had in my life, and I've had, as you all know, I'm pretty distant myself, very significant ones. So, and it's made, listen, you know me, I was a scared little kid. I was a very shy, scared, I was terrified. Here I am talking to people, okay, fine, it would have been nice if they were, you know, but I'm teasing. Terrified to be alone with an adult in a room. Yeah, no, you know, so the point is.
What do you think, Grandma?
The point is, when there's a struggle, why can't we just look at it and say, wow, Jake, you're lifting the weights, you're going from 100 to 150. Wow, where am I going to get? What character, what level can I get at? And it's all about growth. And the more you grow, right, the stronger you, well, you could lift now 157. But we're talking about wisdom. When you grow, and you're getting more wisdom, and you're getting, it's amazing. Yeah, okay. But these things get downloaded into your head, and all of a sudden you find, I mean, me right now in my life, listen, I don't know. Okay, I've had some, I can't believe, even though I've had things in my life that are difficult, I thank God that I focus. I can't believe how blessed I am.
Look around the room.
No, it's true. I mean, it's amazing. Every one of my kids married somebody beautiful. I'm going to family and business, but everything's amazing. And that, of course, but it brings you to this. You know, you have to get, you know.
Family, we're having such
Yeah, I want Grandma to think.
So I wanted to say, what you were saying is very good, but I was also thinking, sometimes I want God to give us the right, like, path, like give me the exact path, tell me exactly the answer, right? So I'm saying, sometimes I say, trying my best, but I want God to give me the answer.
He does.
Right, so I was riding my bike one day, and I was speaking out loud to God, and I was saying, I always pray when I'm riding a bike because I feel like I'm in the wind, and there's the air around me, and there's the water around me, there's nothing around me that's me. So I'm like, tell me what to do. I need to know what to do. I need to get the right answer what to do. So I'm riding, and then all of a sudden the chain on my bike fell right off, and my bike just stopped. I didn't fall off, which is kind of amazing, and the bike stopped. I said, oh, I need to stop thinking and worrying and just let God take over. Because I kept saying,
See, but if you didn't,
what
if you
should
weren't
I
a
do?
spiritual
What should I do?
person,
What should
you
I
wouldn't
do?
have looked at that clue and got it.
It was a clue, because
So
I
that's
kept
the
saying,
whole
what should I do? What should I do? And then all
that's-
of a sudden the bike just stopped.
That's
and
the whole purpose
I
of this class,
stopped.
is escape through, look at the clues
And I
in
said,
your life.
oh, that means I don't have to do anything. That means God is just going to do something, and I'm
Right,
just going to sit back.
and it's a much more interesting life.
Much
If you
more
would look at it as everything is
And
not
I didn't
just.
fall, and I didn't get hurt.
Right.
It was weird.
Even me falling, I mean, look at things.
Anytime your bike, the chain falls off, you just fall a little bit, it just like stopped.
Right.
And it was this weird, miraculous thing, because I just shut my mouth, and I was like, oh, that's what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to stop thinking it's in my hands.
Right, right.
It's not in my hands.
It is in your hands.
No, I kept thinking, what should I do? What do I need to do?
No, when it's
And
in
I
your
said to
hands,
God,
no.
give
What's-
me a sign, and the sign was, stop thinking, maybe that was the sign. It was like, stop thinking it's in your hands.
Okay.
Right.
What I meant to say is, of course, yeah, I hear what you're saying exactly. What I meant was, is just when it's in your hands is just what's in front of you. Make the decisions, and they're right decisions. In other words, whatever path you choose is fine.
Right.
As
But
long
it's
as
not,
you
because you
get
just said you can't be doing the wrong thing, so how do you know?
Don't do the wrong thing. Do as long as you're making the decision based in the right frame of mind,
Right.
with the right parameters, and if you're looking out for your children, and you're not doing it ego-based, and you're not doing it, then it's fine. That you're
Right.
making the right decision. It's not going to be, that's it. And even if sometimes decisions are not even, in other words, it's not preordained which decision is right. There could be two roads. It doesn't mean that from this point that one is right and one is wrong. Once you choose that road, it becomes the right road. It becomes the right road. It doesn't mean, you know, you can't go back and say, I wish I chose that road. It's the right, once you're on it, it's the right road. You want to say that?
Oh no, I'm just thinking that I heard somewhere, you were talking about failure, so I heard somewhere that they're teaching their kids, at the end of the day, they say, what are 3 things that you failed in tonight? Like normalizing failure and talking about failure as if they're a good thing. Like, I tried this and I failed. I tried this and I failed. So just like speaking to your kids about like the things that they failed in and celebrating them and saying like you failed, that's a great thing because that means you tried.
Right.
And not that, not embarrassing, just it's a matter of fact. You tried something and that's it.
You get listen,
Yeah.
there's all kinds of stories. You know, Abraham Lincoln, I don't know how many of you heard that. How many times he failed? Look it up.
Well, failed in what?
Everything, bankrupt, politics, blah, there's a zillion failures that he had in his life, unless you keep going, you know. And even Michael Jordan, he says how many times.
Albert Einstein had like 300 failed experiments. No, Tom says
Light bulb guy. No, it's true. Sometimes, like, I'm studying nutrition, so I'm always like, what if I were to create a product, but I'm nervous, so let's say the product is, like, my mind already takes me to, like, what if I fail? I'll never be able to, like, get myself back up. Like, it needs to be the best idea, and it needs to work, otherwise there's no other option. Like,
First time.
I'm not gonna be able to fail and, like, be embarrassed and everything, and then be able to get back up, but, like, it's so not the case. Like, I'm looking at people who are, like, all my friends, like, who are starting businesses and stuff like that, like, it's just admirable for them to even bring up the initial idea, and to, like, not be scared to bring it up, and, like, okay, yeah, some people fail, and then they come up with another idea, and, like, that's the part that's admirable, the part where, like, okay, it didn't work, here's something even better that can work. Like, it's all confidence. It really is so much confidence. And it's very scary to fail, but it shouldn't be so scary to fail. Because everyone does, you know?
I kind of think you have to take everything as you get older. It's a learning experience. It's like you say, you're growing and you're learning as you're going on. So if you fail, you try, you'll just try to get something out of it that you learn something, but it then takes you on a path. I try to tell my grandkids, I just try this. I try to tell them because I feel like they're doing it. So I try to do it, like, just to understand that's how you get where you're going. If you just sit, you don't get anywhere.
Right.
But it takes, but I don't think you realize it as a young person, as an older, unless you're very, very, like, I say,
Confident,
the word is
like
very
Necessity.
Outgoing,
No, no,
basic.
wise.
Necessities. the
No,
word.
but some people are very like, they're very pushy. There's just, not that kind of person, just a regular person, they're just regular, I'm not those of you. You don't realize you have to keep trying and doing and moving, but it takes, now that I'm older, I see that, you have to like move, you have to keep moving, you can't.
Here's the other thing, I don't think
Agree.
people want to have these big successes, and I think it's important to realize that we're all part of the solution. And the analogy of a rocket ship that's billions of dollars and with this little screw, so everybody's meant to do what they need to do. And just because this person, he has the main stage or the main audience or the main, whatever he's doing, and he's done this and that and it's grand. In other words, it's just a matter of doing your best.
Yes, I agree.
And whatever tools God gave you, be satisfied with what you did. You made that one person happy, you made that one person smile, you made that one, the butterfly effect. You know what the butterfly effect is?
That a wing, that a flap of a wing in like Asia can cause a tsunami in Hawaii.
Right. Or a Super Bowl game, and you're looking, they play all year, this and that, the guy never played, but then they put him in the last second, he throws a block, let the running back, he's part of it, he feels accomplished. Right? He's not the quarterback, he's not Tom Brady. So you can only do what you can do, right? With the skills you have, and Hashem gave everybody different skills, different opportunities, but it's all just as important as the rest. And you could need, if you need $1 million to buy the property, and they're not going to sell it to you for $999 million, the guy who brings the penny, I mean, it's maybe not a great analogy, but the guy who brings the penny at the end, if there was no more money left, he made it happen. Silly analogy, but you know, just
That doesn't make sense.
okay.
Thank you.
Well, according to your analysis, that means there's no mistakes. you have to worry about our mistakes then.
Not if you're doing, not if
I
you're
agree, I have a
coming-
hard time deciding if I made a mistake.
Yeah, that means you didn't make a mistake.
Like, how do you know what's the
mistakes.
wrong thing
Not
to
if you
do?
chose, you didn't, no mistakes. If you chose with your best intentions, you can make a mistake if you did the wrong thing, but if you made the decision with your best intentions, listen, like I said, ego control, so, yeah, we can make mistakes, but, okay, but there's no retrospective looking back and saying, no, because it all works out. There's no such thing as a mistake, because it all works out. God gives you what you need. He'll take into account the mistake.
What if God is
If
saying,
you-
you know what, I gave you enough, now stop wanting and asking to help you on the next path because you're on your own now.
No, he's not on his own.
It is.
No,
Like what-
you never.
Like what if God's like, all right, I got you this far, now you.
There's no such thing as a
It doesn't
no,
leave.
there's not such thing. Would your father ever tell you that?
I'll pass over.
But you know what the best way to be successful is? Get on his team.
Hmm.
Do his work. If you do his work and you're contributing to what the goal is, and the goal is ultimately to bring him back, and that's Mashiach, to bring light back into the world. So every good deed he does brings a little bit more light. Every
That also a question is like, how much Tish'a is the maximum amount of Tish'a, like how do you know when you've done enough things? There's an aspect that's like sit back and let God do his work, but also put in the effort, but it's like how much of the effort?
As much
can
as you can.
No, but
Right,
you,
That's.
I always like struggle with that also, like did I do enough to just sit back and like accept that what is
I mean,
supposed
you have
to
to
be,
balance your life. There is, like, he doesn't want you to overwork it for yourself. You're entitled to pleasure. You're entitled to relaxation. You have to judge that for yourself. But I don't know how many hours to put in. I mean, certainly in terms of work, yeah. There is a point at which.
You're the first
I mean,
one
it's a
in
tough.
on the
I don't know
list.
that I can answer that. It's a tough answer to the
That was-
question. Is how much.
but that's just what I think of a lot.
The first one in and the last one to leave.
That was the bicycle question.
Yeah, exactly.
What should I do now? What should
Yeah.
I do now? What should I do now?
Like,
God's like, stop.
Surrendering to
Don't do
Hashem,
anything.
having full
Sat
letting
inside
down,
of the room.
but also doing your best and believing everything happens for a certain reason and finding those clues when your bike breaks and you don't get hurt. I think it's encompassing all of those together, not to pick the one, to find the best path for yourself.
That's it.
That's the
That's
assumption.
100%. And even and to understand that even the rough times, they're going to end. In other words, it's just a period of time. That's the scary part. When things are, especially with young people who have emotions that they're not used to, or they're going into new periods of their life where they and I'm talking to my kids' experience, that they've gone through new experiences. They're not used to that. It's a new thing, and it's a new emotion. It's scary, very scary. And they think that, see, people don't understand that.
You get to die, which is.
Well, that's also, but also, they don't understand, they don't have the tools right now to deal with this problem, but they don't understand that they're not the same person they're gonna be in 6 months from now. In other words, it is a miracle. That's what he says it for the miracle. Probably that's this whole thing about, what a miracle is. I don't know that I can hear right now, because I don't have it at my fingertips, but where God gives us a challenge, and we aren't equipped to handle it. We don't have the tools at this point. That's what makes it so scary.
To go through the struggle.
But
of
if we,
learning.
but we're not gonna be in a week from now or a month from now, we're gonna be a different person, and we're gonna get different tools. And part of the reason we get the tools is, number one, we look for them ourselves, or we build them, or we figure it out. And then we have the tools to deal with that emotion. We didn't think we could deal with that problem. And then again, to the analogy with Jacob, where we have no tools in our toolbox. And the more tough things we go through, the more tools we have to deal with things and to give and to help and then that's really what it's all about, especially when you have children. You want to be able to get them through it. They come to you with a problem, you can't help them. It's very hard to help them. It's very hard to help somebody. Not even if you have that exact problem, but if you didn't have a struggle in your life, or you could just look at. We can just look at things. We can just say, yeah. Yes, I know some lesbian. Yeah, I guess.